Hello, welcome to the first episode of the Luke Bugbee Show. I'm your host, Luke Bugbee, and eagle-eared listeners probably recognize that I don't sound quite the same. I'm getting over a little cold, and many listeners might be asking, Luke, why don't you just wait, push back the day a little bit to where you don't sound terrible? And I say, when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life podcasting, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. Who is my very first guest on this show? What's your name?
My name is Matt.
Okay, Matt, very nice to have you on as the first guest of the show.
Thank you, Luke. It's very nice to be on. I feel honored.
Yeah, you were obviously like the first pick. Good.
Why is that an obvious decision?
I mean, we've talked about like movies kind of by far the most out of anyone in like the group, you know? I feel like I've had the most movie discussions with you.
Yeah, I've definitely been introduced to a lot of movies from you, and I hope to eventually introduce you to some.
Yeah. Good ones? Winnie the Pooh?
I personally think that Winnie the Pooh is a great movie.
Okay.
So I think that's a personal opinion.
Now, I did Matt a little bit dirty in terms of what the format of the show is going to be going forward. The format is normally going to be the guest picks a movie, and I pick a movie to double feature it. Unfortunately for Matt, I picked both movies today as like a good starting episode. Some movies I know everyone's seen, and hopefully you're going to make a good discussion. But this is still a first time for Matt seeing one of these movies, I believe.
Yeah, I actually hadn't seen The Devil Wears Prada, so you were like, everybody's seen this movie, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm a little behind on my movie watching.
Yeah. Well, which one do you want to start with, Matt? I'm going to leave that up to you.
I watched The Devil Wears Prada first, but when I rewatched both movies, so I guess we could start with that one.
We'll start with Devil Wears Prada. Okay. The Devil Wears Prada came out in 2006, starring Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, really stacked cast. It's from David Frankel, Oscar winner, and screenplay by Aline Brosh McKenna. Matt, what did you think of The Devil Wears Prada, movie you saw for the very first time?
Yeah, upon my first watch, I thought it was an amazing movie. Surprisingly, my favorite performance was actually by Stanley Tucci. His character is amazing.
Really? Yeah, that's nice to hear. Yeah, he's always been one of my personal favorites too. But for me, it's kind of like the Meryl Streep show. But, everyone else is like kind of fighting for second. But Stanley Tucci's really good in that movie.
Yeah, I feel like he had even like more character depth than, some of the secondary or quote unquote secondary characters. He just killed that role.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a light spoiler discussion, I think. Maybe we'll do spoilers. Most people have seen this movie if you're tuning in. That ending with him just kind of gets me every time. The final moments of him not getting the job.
Oh yes, I was crushed by that. You see all these other characters, getting their way, and then he just kind of gets, the bad end of the stick.
Yeah, I mean, Miranda is just a ruthless person, honestly. It's a rough world out there. What do you think about Miranda as a character?
The character is designed for you to hate her. And I definitely fell victim to that emotion. I could not stand her at some points. But then that scene where, she's talking about her divorce, you really can feel her as a character and as a human even, because prior to that, she just sucks to see.
Yeah, it's a really great scene, that one.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep nominated for the Oscar, lead actress, surprisingly, in my opinion, because I kind of feel like Anne Hathaway is the lead and Meryl Streep's more supporting.
Yeah,
it's like a double-hander, you could say, I guess.
Yeah, the camera follows the perspective of Anne's character, Andy, but I guess you could say that Streep's Miranda character definitely plays a central role to the whole movie. So
yeah, I feel like, especially in 2006, a lot of people were going for Meryl Streep and not Anne Hathaway because this was like really early on in Anne's career.
Mm-hmm.
Like she had kind of just done Princess Diaries.
Oh,
And,
wow.
like, that was kind of it. It was
Yeah.
like her first serious movie, really.
So yeah, I guess that makes sense from, the award perspective.
Yeah. So Meryl Streep nominated 21 times across her entire career.
Wow.
And my personal opinion, this is my favorite performance of hers. I think it's great.
Wow. I think it was a very strong performance. She does exactly what she needs to in terms of, getting you to dislike her character as it was written. And then, playing those human aspects surprisingly well.
Yeah, honestly. What I've read and learned about her character is, I think the thing that makes her like kind of so terrifying is the way that she whispers almost all of her lines of
Mm-hmm.
dialogue. She becomes the most powerful person in the world by being the quietest, which is not something we'll see in the next movie we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Especially her delivery of the, that's all lines.
Yeah. It's always amazing. But she got that voice it's inspired by Clint Eastwood.
Oh, wow.
When he directed her on the movie The Bridges of Madison County, he always spoke like that on set and said it was kind of terrifying.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But it's a wonderful performance, very layered, terrifying, and she doesn't raise her voice a single time in the entire movie.
There's not one moment. Wow.
And I was rewatching it. It's like kind of had that in mind, and very rarely a moment of kindness.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that helps keep the audience in suspense because you're expecting her to, break at some point and just, get loud. But, if she keeps it controlled the whole time, then, you're always waiting for it to happen and it never does.
Yeah. Like, that's what makes the ending beautiful is that the way of her breaking is making a single slight smile.
Similar to the ending of Whiplash.
Yeah, honestly. Let's talk a little bit about Andy as a character. Was she right in pursuing her dream, or what do you think about her working for
What do you mean by pursuing her dream? Because I feel like that changes throughout the movie.
Yeah, her friends. I guess I just kind of want to talk about the friends of the character. What did you think about Andy's friends? Were they right in like pressuring her to quit, especially her boyfriend, played by Adrian Grainer of Entourage fame?
There were some times where those friends kind of irritated me. Like that scene where they played hot potato with the phone. Oh, I was so upset for her because, I was like, if my friends did this to me while I was on call, oof.
This is one of the biggest dick moves I've seen in
yeah.
any movie.
But I also feel like she treated them poorly too. I don't know if she ever went to that extreme of, like scaring them like to the point where like, oh, I could possibly lose my job over this. But she definitely didn't always treat them the best, especially in her like deepest moments of pursuit for, greatness.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And maybe it's just because I've seen a movie enough times and just of how I root for the characters. But for me, Adrian Grainer, all respect to Entourage, I think he's bad in the movie. It's like the worst performance in it. And so every time she's treating her poorly, I'm rooting for Andy harder. I don't like his character at all.
I feel like we also didn't see enough depth in his character. Half the time he's on screen, it's he's feeling freaky, and then the other half, like there's just not enough going on for me to root for him in most cases. Yeah. Until she's in France, and my heart was just hurting for that dude.
Oh, yeah. Christian Thompson, writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get all my negatives out of the way first. That's the only other problem I have with the movie is it's kind of a nitpick, I guess, but if you remember the movie correctly, listeners at home or in Matt,
yeah,
there's a scene where Anne Hathaway is really struggling Andy, and she needs Christian Thompson's help, but doesn't realize it yet. And the way she realizes this is by looking out and seeing his name on a bus. In what world is a journalist's name on the side of a bus like that? That's the one thing that kind of doesn't make any sense. Like, what is he reporting on? Why is he popular enough to be on the side of an entire bus, not just a magazine, his name specifically? And it's like a little nitpick, I know, but I've seen this movie enough times where it just bugs me every single time.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen any, advertising for somebody so background.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
that's really your only nitpick for the movie?
Oh, that's one of my main nitpicks
Okay.
for the movie. There's like other minor stuff that we can get into later, I guess.
All right.
But I don't know. I feel like I really don't care for Andy's friends have some like I don't know, like some supportive moments, but her friend, I'm forgetting her name, but like at her gallery.
Yes. I was just thinking of the same scene.
Oh my God.
Where, she sees Andy, messing around with Thompson over here, and she doesn't make a direct threat, but she's like, I really see where your priorities lie, and
Just a bad friend.
yeah.
Bad friend. And there's like what, just like a hug, basically. There's like a light kiss on the cheek. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I would have. It's one of my like best friends. I would hear them out a little bit. And like honestly, we know that Christian had bad intentions, but we don't know if Andy did at that point. You know.
Well, maybe I sound cynical for this, but the whole idea of taking a quote unquote break in a relationship and then just using it to, get with somebody else, that feels a little wrong, because, if you're really done and you're feeling like it, then, it should be over. But taking a break just to, it felt selfish in this case.
Yeah, I should agree with you, but once again, I just hate Nate so much.
Yes.
Like, hurt him. I don't care, man. Hurt him. I hate this guy. And what the movie ends with, he's jealous of, or he's mad at her the entire time for furthering her career, and then he's like, "Guess what? We're going to Boston."
Yeah. Well,
like,
at first,
isn't a big career change too. Come on.
At first, I felt like there was a bit of a disconnect in that scene. Like, I couldn't tell if, she was actually going to Boston with him. And so that made me think like, oh, wow. So now he's just dumping her to move. And then, it comes out that she's going with him. But I mean, even then, taking such a big step in your career while you've been trying to hinder your girlfriends, like, come on, man.
It's annoying. But honestly, you've seen movies with me before, and you know that I don't like talking during movies.
Yeah.
This is one of the very rare exceptions and one of the rare magical movies where you feel like it's necessary to talk back to the screen just to yell at Andy during these moments and just start screaming at these friends. And I don't think I've seen the movie like a single time where I'm just not shouting, "I hate you," at this man for making her move to Boston for like such selfish reasons.
So even in your first watch, you would have like broken the silence?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I remember that. Yeah, I've seen this movie many times. Not as many as I'd like to. There was a period in high school where I kind of thought I was like better than it. And then on this most recent watch, I kind of got a little bit sad thinking all the times I've robbed myself of seeing Devil Wears Prada over the years because I thought I was better than the movie. Oh, man. But, I got the rest of my life to make up for that.
Yeah, and, I've been wanting to watch this movie for a few years now, but it's streaming on, select services that I don't necessarily have. And so I keep hoping that, with this sequel that's coming out this year, that, they'll revisit the touch-ups on the physical release, and then I can eventually get that.
Yeah, I definitely want the 4K of this movie.
Yes.
Great. Let's talk about the one principal character we haven't mentioned yet, Emily Blunt.
Yes.
Emily.
Oh, man, I felt so bad for her, seeing the lengths that she went to get this France trip, and then she loses it behind her back,
Not going to Paris.
She gets hit by what, a bus?
Yeah.
Oh.
One of the great gags in the movie also at the very end when you see her in the cast.
Yeah. And honestly, I can't even tell which is a harder challenge that Miranda gave Andy. She made Andy get that Harry Potter manuscript, and then she also made Andy break the news to Emily Blunt's character, who's in the hospital, And I'm like, man, those are equally challenging.
This is evil.
Yeah.
But Emily Blunt as an actress. This was, I believe, her second or third movie ever.
Wow.
She was auditioning for the movie Aragon, a fantasy movie from the 2000s. Man. And the casting director from this movie heard her in the parking lot and said, "We want you for The Devil Wears Prada." And her career completely blew up after this. I mean, she's like one of the biggest stars like in the world. Like she's been a part of our lives for like the last 20 years. It's all because of this movie, honestly.
And so in the parking lot, it was a guaranteed role, like no audition?
I think they had her audition, but it was pretty guaranteed.
Okay, wow.
Mm-hmm. They liked the British accent, which is something that they were missing from the other people in the audition. And it does add something to it.
And then it was actually shot in New York. So, you know, finding a British accent out there is not exactly the easiest.
No, it's not. I mean, they found her. And I think she works wonderfully for the movie. I'm glad. She's still a star now. Might be, she bigger than Anne Hathaway? What would you say?
I personally wouldn't say so, but, you know, it could be argued that Emily Blunt's had a more visible career.
Yeah, it's close. It's very close. This one of the most like stacked 4 people.
Yeah.
The top 4. All Oscar nominated, half of them Oscar winning. Anne won for Les Miserables. Meryl Streep has 3. Kramer versus Kramer, Sophie's Choice, and The Iron Lady. In my opinion, she should have won for this. Sorry, Helen Mirren for the Queen. But, you know.
I actually haven't seen that movie, so I can't speak too much on that. But I definitely think this was an award-winning level type of movie.
Yeah. Emily Blunt, she was nominated for the BAFTA and I think the SAG, but not the Oscar. So I think she was this close to like getting it. I think that would have been a fun nomination.
I think that definitely would have been pretty cool. And then do you know if the film itself received any nominations for, you know, stuff like sound or music?
The only other nomination it got was costume design, which, you know,
well, obviously.
The costume budget for this movie is in the multi-millions. Like, obviously, you know. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, like not every outfit works, in my opinion, but most of them hold up pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think that, you know, it could have... It didn't use music very much throughout, but when it did, it was pretty good. Like the first second of the movie, you start hearing Kate Tunstall's "Suddenly I See," which is, you know, exactly what that's about. You know, it's seeing a beautiful person and then wanting that person, and then you like want to be that person because they're beautiful without makeup or, you know, any extra stuff. It's really a very fitting song for it.
Great opening. And also, I think the song Vogue by Madonna, that just kind of is the movie for me, honestly. Like, it's such a great song choice for that scene, one of the best scenes in a movie.
I mean, it is hard to, you know, talk about use of music in a movie when, you know, the one we're going to be talking about later.
Oh, yeah.
But,
good soundtrack.
Another thing that I noticed with this film is that it's very heavy on like the rule of threes. Like I just kept noticing, like all of the dresses that Andy's character wears, most of them have like 3 buttons. You know, there's several lines that were repeated exactly 3 times. Like a million girls would kill to have this job, said exactly 3 times, and just stuff like that. And I don't know how much of it was intentional, but you know, it definitely stuck out to me.
No, it definitely feels like something that's intentional. I don't know what it's like trying to symbolize, but it was interesting. I mean, there's not really room for coincidences like that.
Yeah.
Making a movie as big as this. So, let's talk a little bit about the backstory. This was originally based off of a book that I was going to try and read before this episode, but then got busy because I was sick and I couldn't. This was written by Laura Weisberger, who makes an appearance in the movie. She's the nanny of the twins.
Oh, okay.
And she was an actual assistant to Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief at Vogue magazine. Wow. So it's pretty much like, you know, about her real life.
Yeah.
Honestly. Buck was a bestseller. The movie was kind of decided to be made sort of immediately. It was released right against Superman Returns. You know that movie?
I actually haven't seen that. I call me a sucker, but I like the newer
Yeah,
media.
no, it was good. Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Hasn't aged super well. Maybe we can talk about that sometime. But yeah, it was released right alongside that movie. Supposed to be the lighter alternative. Superman Returns, I think, made like 20 million more, but also cost about 200 million more to make.
Wow.
So Devil Wears Prada is definitely the bigger success. And I mean, which one people are still talking about
Yeah.
nowadays. Yeah, Devil Wears Prada has aged pretty well. Other fun, interesting facts about production. They were not originally going to give Meryl Streep this part because they thought she couldn't do comedy.
Wow.
But they gave it to her after she read for it. And they were going to give her 1 million, and she said that's too little, so she got 4 million for the movie. Other people considered were Catherine Zeta-Jones, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Glenn Close. They're all good,
Yeah.
but I think Meryl kind of killed it.
I think Catherine could have done a good job on that, but I at this point I just can't picture anybody else except Meryl Streep.
For the casting of Andy, they originally offered the part to Rachel McAdams multiple times.
Wow.
Because she had just gotten off of The Notebook and Mean Girls all in 1 year, but she turned it down. Then the part went to Kate Hudson. She was busy making Yumi and Dupree. Offered it to a bunch of different people, Kirsten Dunst, Natalie Portman. Well, they were considering them at least. But Anne Hathaway was just persistent, and she kind of wore them down, and she got the part.
I think that's kind of fitting for the movie and its themes.
Yeah, honestly. She wanted what she wanted and eventually got it. Yeah. So Anna Wintour, to talk about her. Do you know Anna Wintour that much at all?
No, I actually don't.
I'm just going to show you a picture of her right now. And you can pretty easily tell.
Oh, yeah, okay, I recognize her.
Yeah. And also, it's so obvious. If you haven't seen her, listeners, look her up because it is so obvious that Miranda is based off of her. It's not even close. But she liked the movie. Anna Wintour did. She hated the book, but she liked the movie.
That's funny. Usually you see it the other way around. People, praise the book to, high heaven, and then they hate the movie, but...
Yeah, I think it's because they made her less mean in the movie, apparently. And that she's a lot meaner in the book. Which is interesting. I haven't read it, and I guess I need to. I haven't heard, amazing things about it, but, it's hard to imagine her being that much meaner in the book compared to the movie.
If it was much meaner, I can't see an easy time, redeeming the character at the end. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't feel bad for her during the scene where she announces her divorce or anything. She'd just be a plain, flat-out villain the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, there was a deleted scene that includes Andy doing a job successfully and Miranda actually saying thank you. But the editor said, yeah, we can't.
See, I was expecting something like that at the end because they made an explicit comment about how Miranda never says thank you. Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it better. Honestly, that all she get is a little light smile. Mm-hmm. Because you have that line earlier too about the only time she's ever smiled was for Tom Ford in 2001.
Yeah, you get the nod or the two nods, the frown or the singular smile that she's ever given,
or disaster, the slight pursing of the lips.
Yeah,
it's a funny movie. And really a lot smarter than you'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
People give it credit for.
I don't know. I don't see enough people talking about it nowadays because it definitely has a hidden depth to it in that kind of sense.
Yeah, honestly. There's a lot to talk about with this movie, and there's a lot to appreciate. I know some people kind of just pass it off as a standard 2000s chick flick, but I think it gets to something greater than that while still maintaining all the great qualities of 2000s chick flicks.
Because, I can't lie. I definitely thought it looked like that at first was, just your typical 2000s movie where, a character adjacent to Anne Hathaway is just...
No, it's not really about the romance. At least that's not the most interesting part about it, because I think Meryl Streep just adds a certain gravitas to it as Miranda Priestley. It's just one of my favorite movie performances in general.
Wow.
along with another one we're going to be talking about today. Two great villain
Yes.
type that are maybe misunderstood. I don't know. I think there's a bit more nuance for Miranda Priestley than Fletcher, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, you were talking about the music earlier. I have this written down. Composer Fyodor Shapiro. Name ring a bell?
The name rings a bell, but I couldn't actually place it to anything.
He did a TV show that I know you like called Severance.
Oh, man. Okay.
Composer of
Severance is
that.
a fantastic show.
Great show, yeah. If we ever talk about a show at some point on this, it's probably going to be Severance. Cinematographer Florian Ballhaus. He also worked on a couple movies I also know you like. One called Goodfellas, one
Yes.
called After Hours.
Man, that's funny. I almost wore my Goodfellas shirt today.
Yeah, that's funny. And another show I don't know if you don't like, a costume designer, Patricia Field, worked on Sex and the City pretty exclusively, which is a pretty big deal for people a bit older than us, and also probably not really for our target demographic.
I mean, I can't say that I dislike it because I haven't seen it, but I am a bit prejudiced against
yeah,
it.
maybe I got to give it a fair shake.
Yeah,
You'll see.
it's funny because I even own it. Like,
You own it?
yeah, my family has like the collector's edition box set for that movie because I think my mom liked it.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give it a shot someday, but it's definitely not as high on my list as some other movies.
The Sex and the City pod. Going over to show in the movie, that'd be fun. Let's see, anything else?
Didn't they recently make some sort of media for that? Like a show or something?
I think they just released a new season of it, but like a spin-off season, I think, of just like it's one of the main characters.
Because, yeah, I remember like it had a sequel, back in like the 2000s, but I remember hearing something about it recently.
Sorry, I'm kind of out of the loop on the Sex and the City lore. Sorry to the listeners at home that are here exclusively for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have like a little list I put together of Luke's top 5 lines from The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yeah, there were some like great lines. I was even thinking about one earlier.
It's such a quotable script. Let's see. All right. Number 5 and number 1, I'm kind of cheating a little bit.
Okay.
But you'll see. Number 5, multiple times in the movie, that's all.
Yes.
Such a great line.
In position 5?
And that's number 5.
Wow.
It's like it holds like such a important spot in the movie, but I'm not like saying it in reference to Devil Wears Prada like that often.
Okay.
In these other 4, I like actually do say. Number 4, by all means, move at a glacial pace. You know now how that thrills me.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of earlier, and I would have placed that a lot higher.
Oh, that's such a good line. Number 3, this is a personal favorite. I think this is the one line in my top 5 that's not from Miranda. This one's from Emily. I'm just one stomach flu away from my goal weight.
Yeah.
No, that's just a classic line. That was like my favorite line when I was like little. Like everyone I know says that. That's All right, number 2. Got florals for spring, groundbreaking.
Yes.
I don't know. That one just tickles me. And number 1, cheating a bit. Cheating. Wait, what do you think number 1 could be?
I don't know. You've already said the ones that like really stuck out to me. You're probably gonna say it, and I'm gonna be like, "Dang it, I completely forgot about that."
I'm cheating. Remember that.
Was it repeated several times?
No.
Okay. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Number 1 is just the entire cerulean sweater speech.
Okay.
Like, that's kind of the scene from that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it has like a life of its own at this point, really. Like, everyone knows that scene. Everyone talks about that scene. Like, I remember, I'm not like super interested into fashion personally. Like, I don't like look into it in my own time or anything. But when I watched that scene, I'm like, oh my God, maybe fashion is like the most important thing that's ever.
Career changing for Luke over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Like when you're a kid, you're watching the Wolf of Wall Street speech to get you hype.
I don't think you should be watching that as a kid.
You're an adult, you start watching the cerulean sweater speech to get you hype. Swear to God, I watched that scene like twice this morning just to like get me in the mood to
Wow.
podcast. I love that scene, man. I love that scene. And yeah, I know it's cheating, but you know.
Yeah. Dang. Kind of sad none of Stanley's lines made it in. He's so
Oh, yeah.
sassy.
Okay, what do you got? Give me your best Stanley line.
I don't have any of those committed to memory.
Okay. Think about it. All right, we'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
Other thing wanted to mention in terms of don't know how it's aged. We could talk about this a little bit. How we feel about the Harry Potter book.
I mean, it was obviously set up for her to fail.
Mhm.
It was kind of like the impossible task. I almost didn't want her to succeed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by some miracle, she had, you know, her quote unquote friend to fall back on, but it felt cheap letting her win like that. But she definitely felt like a badass when, you know, she handed Miranda the third copy, and then her both of her kids on the train already had a copy each.
It's such a satisfying moment,
Yeah.
honestly, to me.
I mean, that kind of felt like a callback to like earlier in the movie, like during the interview, where she's talking about like, yeah, you're right, I don't fit in here. You know, I'm not skinny or glamorous. But she's like, I'm smart, I learn fast, and I'll work very hard. And this kind of felt like a callback to that, where, you know, she really got her job done.
Mm-hmm. It's a really important moment for Andy's character, and also Miranda realizing what Andy is exactly capable of after the whole going upstairs debacle, which is another really funny scene. But in terms of like how it is in 2026, you think that scene is going to read as well for future generations in terms of like a Harry Potter book specifically? Like, are they going to get how impossible of a task that is?
I mean, Harry Potter itself has kind of like what I feel is like an immortality in media, you know, especially with like this new show that's coming out. It's only going to get younger people to watch the older movies again. You know, it might not be received the same. I don't follow all of like the internet drama, but you know, I've heard that J.K. Rowling's kind of been through the ringer and hasn't exactly done great stuff.
Not great.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're kind of at like I don't know. I feel like we kind of remember, at least maybe I do, how big of like a moment Harry Potter was, and it still is like now. Less so, I'd say, because of some of the J.K. Rowling scandals, but just how big of a phenomenon the books were specifically.
Yeah.
Like, that was like a little like before our time, and I'm just wondering if like like future generations watching this movie are gonna like care about Harry Potter. I mean, they probably will like a little bit, so kind of to the culture, but two, just realize like how impossible of a task that is.
Yeah.
Because it's like a comic, like I don't even know what the modern equivalent with that would be to that. Like Miranda wants the children to watch Dune free early or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, get Christopher Nolan on the line and watch the Odyssey.
Yeah. They want the Odyssey on their phone on the train to their grandma.
I mean, on the topic of Harry Potter, it's one of those things where it's such a great universe that I wish it was expanded on. You know, we see all of this Harry Potter media, but I wish we would see some more spin-off material, kind of like the Fantastic Beasts series. I feel like that's a great example of, you know, diving into some of the other aspects of the Harry Potter universe. I'm trying to remember, but like there's another universe where I was just like, man, we focus too much on the main character for how awesome this universe could be.
Star Wars?
No, because lately Star Wars has been doing a great job. That, you know, I keep rewatching like the first several episodes of Andor. I can't get past them because they're a bit of a slog. And then, you know, a few months later I try again, but I promise I'll get past them at some point. But you know, even those few episodes they're just great.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a wealth of potential in like most franchises, and Devil Wears Prada soon to be like a big franchise.
Yeah.
Sequel
Actually,
coming out.
I hope it doesn't get, you know, too elongated though. You know, another sequel, that's nice. I'm very excited for it coming out. But, you know, I feel like nowadays everything's turning into the Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Miracle though, under 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm used to all the sequels at this point. Like the first movie's like 100 minutes. The second one's gonna be like, I don't know, 3 hours. You know?
Yeah, and I think it'll definitely be great to see Meryl Streep again.
Oh yeah. She's been gone for a minute.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like The Substance and how it brought her back
Oh yeah.
into the light. Um, I'm blanking on the name right now.
Yeah. Oh, Demi Moore.
Yeah, Demi Moore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Meryl, like she is like an icon still, and like when a lot of people think of like the greatest actors, not just of like still alive, just of all time, Meryl's
Yeah.
typically like in the top 10, maybe top one for a lot of people. But and you think like she's been doing stuff, but like you look back at her career in like the last couple of years, she hasn't. The
Yeah.
last time she was in a movie in the theaters was Little Women in 2019.
Wow.
That was the last time we've seen her on the big screen. Until like a month from now, we've seen Devil Wears Prada 2.
So where do you plan on watching that?
I don't know, honestly. Probably like a nicer theater. I think in El Paso. I don't think they're doing an IMAX screening of it. I don't know
I
how.
haven't seen anything.
I don't know how much an IMAX screen would benefit the Double Wears Prada, but I do want to see it in like a pretty big theater. Hopefully, like a lot of people, but like aren't annoying. Like I want like
Yeah.
laughter. I don't want it to be like people on their phone and obnoxious and stuff. You know?
See, you can't guarantee that with AMC, and then you have to drive to the east side to see it in the remaining what's it called, Alamo.
I didn't think that one too. Is it
Oh,
still-
they closed both
I thought they
locations?
closed both.
Oh my goodness. I thought
Yeah.
they just closed Monticello. That's
Mhm.
really heartbreaking.
For anyone that doesn't know that listening, in El Paso, there was 2 Alamo Drafthouse theaters that prioritized no speaking during movies, and both of them have closed down. But I don't know. Did you see that recent IndieWire article about the Alamo Drafthouse?
Yeah, and I know we've talked about it a little bit. It's kind of disgusting to see that direction.
Yeah, disappointing. Really disappointing. But you know what won't be disappointing is The Devil Wears Prada 2, greatest movie of all time incoming. No doubt, no doubt.
No, you just haven't seen the greatest movie of all time. But
Winnie the
that's
Pooh, Blood
okay.
and Honey.
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll talk about it some other time. Okay, anything else you want to hit on? Devil Wears Prada?
Let me just look back real quick. I feel like we talked a lot about it. I'll be mentioning it again as we talk about Whiplash, because there were definitely some commonalities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of what I'm gonna like about the show. Hopefully, people like it's a double feature, so you can talk about similarities, differences between the two things. But
Yeah.
Devil Wears Prada. We want to give like ratings or anything or no?
See, that's the thing. I log all of my movies on Letterboxd, like everything I watch, but I don't trust my own judgment enough to rate something. Maybe I'll start doing that later, but I just can't even give myself a rating that I would agree with in the future.
Okay, that's cool. That's valid. Easy 5 out of 5. No, I don't know. In terms of like enjoyment, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I would definitely say that I enjoyed that movie to a 5.
Yeah, it's a really good time. It's really fun. There's problems, but at a certain point, the flaws have become part of the charm for me, and I can't wait to watch it. I don't know, like 200 more times. So
200 more times.
my
Wow.
course on this earth. I almost watched it twice yesterday.
I almost watched it again like this morning or last night after I finished watching Whiplash again.
It's just really fun.
Mhm.
It's really addictive.
It's also very memorable. Like there's several scenes that I can like picture vividly, which isn't always the case for some of the movies that I watch. Like, a week goes by and I can't exactly, describe a scene as if I had just seen it. But with this movie, I can like pretty confidently recall like some of the moments.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that real quick. Actually, best scene.
Okay, you put me on the spot here. How about you tell me yours?
Sweater monologue. I think.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of cheating, but that's also not cheating. But because it's that entire everything that makes that movie great. Ideas of going too far for the sake of capitalism. Why fashion actually does matter now. At the same time, Meryl Streep absolutely tearing it up. Stanley Tucci doing some great side stuff, and Anne Hathaway, just like looking awesome.
Yeah. See, I think I've got a couple. You know, that scene where Andy goes up to Stanley Tucci and, you know, she's complaining about Miranda. He says something to the effect of, like, you're not here to like try. You're here to whine to me. Like you're not trying to fix things. You're just trying to whine to me. And you know, he just has that Stanley Tucci sass to him. But I also really love the scene where Andy gets to prove herself to Miranda when Emily forgets the name of the ambassador and his wife. Andy really gets to step up and kind of save both of their skins to Miranda.
Incredible scene. Yeah, both of those are incredible scenes, actually. Good choices. I love
Thank
that
you.
that Tucci scene straight out. Kind of forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful scene. It's like that's also addictive in terms of kind of like flashier, but like you like to wind that one back a couple of times.
Yeah. See, like on one hand, I wish I had some more of him in the movie, but on the other, it's also kind of savory. Like, you know, you really cherish his time on screen, especially when he's not constantly in your face.
Yeah, leave him wanting more.
Yeah.
You know? Like not too much, not too little. Big debate. Is he gay in that movie? I don't think they ever explicitly say.
They never explicitly say, you know, but he's got the tone.
Yeah. I'd say probably. I think like people said that he takes an extra second to look at like one of the male models. Like that doesn't mean anything though, but you know,
Yeah, he's just that invested in what he does, you know.
we'll see if they confirm it in the second movie. They might.
Is he getting a return?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
everyone's
good
coming
to
back,
see.
which is awesome. You know, like I mean, I'm sure like they're getting paid for it, but you know, I think everyone had a really positive time working on that movie, and it's nice to see everyone coming back.
I hope we get to see what happens to Andy's replacement. At the very end of the movie, we see, you know, somebody else on the desk and Emily hobbling around with her cast. I definitely wonder what happened to that replacement of hers.
Yeah, you know who's not coming back though?
I couldn't say.
Nate and Christian are both not in the cast of like coming back. They both got cut.
Bummer.
Yeah, I'm so sad about that.
God, I hate Christian so
my-
much. Christian
yeah.
Thompson is my op.
That's funny. Like you really hate Christian and I really hate Nate. You just got both. Like I mean, they're both terrible. You know.
Yeah, I think we both win in this case.
Yeah, find it out in the comments. Who's worse,
Well,
Nate or Christian?
I mean, we didn't really talk about it, but you know, I despise Christian, especially when they're in France, and he just forces himself on Andy. You know, she explicitly said no and stop, and he didn't, and I just wanted him to like spontaneously combust and explode on the spot.
Yeah, and betraying Miranda in that same scene too.
Yes. Oh,
He's doing all of that, and he's like, "Screw." It's rough. It's rough. Okay. All right, Whiplash.
okay.
Let's get into it. What's your relationship with this movie? You like it?
I think it's a great movie. This is like the fourth time I've seen it now, and you know, it just stays perfect every single time. Like there's not like I as a musician, I can nitpick quite a bit of the like technicals in the movie, but you know, cinematically, I think it's, you know, superb. You know, it immediately starts, and you can tell just how much the movie is using color grading in its themes, just because of how strong it is. It starts with that super strong, like green and blue in the practice room hallway.
Yeah. Very intentional filmmaking. Often incorrectly credited as Damien Chazelle's directorial debut. He has one before this, but this was the one that really put him on the map.
Yeah. And you know, to have such a strong movie with it only being your second,
Yeah.
man,
Honestly,
he
it's
did a
crazy.
fantastic job.
I think that there is an argument that this is the most successful independent movie of like the last 25 years in terms of how it's penetrated the culture and like how iconic it is for how cheaply it was made. It has a $3 million budget.
Yeah, you know, with all those stipulations, I can agree with that. You know, if you had just said it stands out as an independent, I wouldn't say, you know, it does the best, but with, you know, how cheap it was made and then how quickly it was shot and just all of those rules around it. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that statement, but as a blanket, I don't think I would.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's a really, it was like a cheap movie, pretty like, Yeah, I mean, there was like some notoriety of J.K. Simmons involved. Miles Teller wasn't really known at the time, and at
Oh,
this point, everyone's seen it. That's just the thing. It's like
yeah.
it's so iconic at
Like
this
you
point.
can quote
Everyone
it
knows
and
it.
everybody knows it.
Yeah, like that's one of the other reasons why I chose these two movies together. Is that I feel like if you got 100 different people in a room, like 10 of those people, their favorite movie is going to be either Whiplash or Devil Wears Prada. It's like everyone sees it. A
Wow.
lot of people really love it.
You think 10 people would say that it's their favorite?
I really do. I've met so many people, music, non-music alike, that say their favorite movie is Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
It just has like this energy to it.
It is amazing to see how many like non-musicians love it,
Mhm.
just as equally.
Yeah,
Some even more.
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, said for cast already, Miles Teller plays character Andrew Naiman. Andrew for this movie, Andrea for The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, both of their names could be Andy.
Yeah. J.K. Simmons is Terrence Fletcher. Pretty good in the movie.
I think he does a great
Can
job.
talk about it a little bit. I don't know. Melissa Benoit. I don't know how to say her name. Sorry.
It's
Nicole. And Paul Reiser is Jim Naiman, Andrew's father. Composer. We got Justin Hurwitz. Great music in the movie. Academy Award winning, working with Damien Chazelle for the rest of his career. Little movie called La La Land, also pretty popular. I don't know if anyone's heard about it.
I think it's funny because like in this case, like the composer can only be credited for like half of the songs that you hear in the movie.
It's kind of funny. I think that's probably why I think he was like deemed ineligible for like the Oscar original score because
That's unfortunate.
they're saying we can't tell which one's original and which is not. Like just tell the voters what's original and like they might vote for it.
There's this little thing at the end of a movie called credits.
Yeah, just pay attention to that. Academy, man, you see mad sometimes. But backstory for the movie: Damien Chazelle, he was trying to make a movie. They had a script called La La Land, but nobody wanted to make it. He was incredibly frustrated, so he decided to write a movie inspired by his old big band conductor,
Wow.
and wrote Whiplash. He got some funding to turn one of the scenes in the movie into a short film. A scene of one of the opening scenes of him yelling, and him like the first day of Andrew.
Oh, okay.
There.
So like the first rehearsal.
Yeah, first
at
rehearsal.
9 a.m.
That was submitted as a short film to Sundance, won the Best Short Film Prize.
Wow.
He, fun fact, J.K. Simmons was like still part of that, but Miles Teller wasn't Andrew. It was Johnny Simmons of Scott Pilgrim versus the World fame, played
wow.
young Neil.
It's crazy that they were able to get J.K. Simmons even for like a short movie.
Yeah, honestly, I think he just really liked the script a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he killed it.
Yeah, I mean, movie's not the same without him. They got funding for the feature. Took 19 days to shoot, and it premiered at Sundance. Did super well. Currently for box office, it got $3.5 million for its budget. Total right now is standing at $50 million.
Wow.
Pretty massive success. One of the most critically acclaimed movies of its year, of its decade, probably. Just seeing it's a classic right now.
I find it sad that it's probably going to be slowing down here in the next year or two because Netflix is dropping the movie soon, which that absolutely sucks. I do hope that it'll get picked up, but I don't know if it'll ever have the same visibility to newer audiences as it does right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I feel like the Whiplash is kind of always on and like some streaming service. I'm not sure if it'll ever come back to Netflix. Maybe it will. But I feel like it's one where people go out of their way to watch it because I don't know. I feel like it's an easily clippable movie.
Yes.
Like when you see one clip of it, you want to see the whole thing. Like you just see J.K. Simmons yelling at someone, and you're like, "What is that? I gotta watch this." And then you get something that's so much more and so much greater than that.
Yeah, like the Fandango YouTube clips. I always get the final scene, caravan. Comes on my feed consistently.
Well, I mean, won't spoil the best scene game, but I feel like we're gonna have a pretty easy answer.
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it. Academy Award nominations: nominated for Best Picture, lost to Birdman. Nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, Adapted is weird because it was adapted from the short film, but like the short film was actually adapted from the movie. So
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. So when they recorded the short film, did they already have, everything ready for the full feature?
the screenplay was written. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the full movie.
So it's weird that counts as an adaptation.
Yeah, Oscars are weird about that sometimes. Like, the movie Moonlight, like, won Best
Mhm.
Adapted Screenplay because it was adapted from an unpublished play.
Jeez.
Everywhere else it was original, but that was adapted. Same with Barbie was an adaptation of the doll Barbie.
What?
So, like, I don't know if that counts, but whatever.
Okay.
Best Supporting Actor, J.K. Simmons, won.
Good.
Yeah. Best Editing, won.
Okay.
Best Sound Mixing, won.
Well, that's fair.
3 Oscars.
Wow.
Deserves all of them, I'd say.
Yeah.
Best editing, talk about a little bit. Just one of the most entertaining movies of like the last 15 years. You just put it on, it's like
Mhm.
it starts, and all of a sudden it's over. It just goes by so quickly.
I was just about to say, like, it's paced perfectly, you're always like intent with your watching, and you never really feel like a scene is dragging on too long.
Yeah.
Even with the 12-minute song at the end, or however long it is, you're still enthralled the entire time, every time you watch it.
Yeah, I was looking, I watched it this time. When you get to the part where, after the first rehearsal, how long, I saw it, I thought, like, okay, we gotta be like, what, 15 minutes into it as soon as the
Mhm.
rehearsal ended. 30 minutes have passed by.
Yeah.
It's so well paced. It's just the edit just moves like crazy. Like, no pun intended, it's got a rhythm to it. It's just the way that movie moves. That one and from that same year, Gone Girl. Those are like my two of the
Okay.
best edited movies of that decade, I'd say.
I haven't seen all of Gone Girl, but it's the same kind of thing where I've seen snippets of it on YouTube from the Fandango
Hmm.
stuff.
Now, let's talk J.K. Simmons.
Okay.
Let's talk Whiplash. Because he kind of is Whiplash at a certain point.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this performance?
Oh, man. He's exactly what you expected Miranda to do at some point, but throughout the entire movie. He's mentally abusive, and he's like loud and vulgar, and he's another character that you're just designed to hate. Um, and I think he kills it, and man, I'm a sucker for him and his voice, especially hearing him in Invincible show now. He just does an amazing job.
Yeah, he is really wonderful in this movie. One of the great villain performances ever, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always kind of associate that a supporting actor sometimes as like the best villain award. Like I put him up there with Hans Landa, Bastards, Joker, Dark Knight. More recently, Lockjaw, One Battle.
And heck, I don't even know if I would consider him like a supporting actor like I do like some other movies. I think it's a similar case where, he's like Miranda, and he really steals the show.
He really does. Like, yeah, he does dominate the movie. When he's not on screen, you spend your entire time thinking about him. When he's and you're kind of right there with him. Or like, and he gets into a car crash. Your first spot isn't like, is he okay? It's how is he gonna get back?
Yeah.
That's something we'll talk about right now. I'll mention is Damien Chazelle. This movie took about 19 days to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the second week, I believe, he got into a bad car accident.
Oh my goodness.
And he said he almost got a concussion, but when you almost get a concussion, that means that you got a concussion, and you just can't say that you got a concussion.
Because then people will like stop you.
Yeah.
Man.
And then, but he left treatment to go finish the movie. So,
Wow.
right along with the movie, kind of parallel to it. I think that's fascinating.
I almost hate seeing that scene because, it really does show the lengths that Naaman will go to.
It is probably the silliest scene in the movie, and I like it now, but I remember that scene used to kind of take me out of it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's supposed to feel disorienting, kind of like, Andrew feels, especially when, he just completely loses it partway through that second song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great moment. I think. Why do you think it was drugs?
I feel like drums is, a very physical
Mm-hmm.
thing. It requires, um, you know, it's a lot different than a wind instrument. And that's not me bashing either one, but just the experiences are very different. You see him pushing himself physically and mentally
Mm-hmm.
throughout the entire movie, with this whole like double time swing thing. And then when he finally earns that part between the three drummers, that's just you seeing him push himself in a way that is hard to replicate through a movie on like a wind instrument, or heck, even some of the other rhythm section instruments.
Mm-hmm. The blood.
Yes.
That's one of the defining symbols of that movie.
And I honestly kind of categorize that with the comment that I made earlier with the color grading.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like that striking red in the film
Mm-hmm.
kind of stands out to get you to think.
Yeah. Red and blood. I mean, when he puts his hand into the ice.
In the picture.
Yeah, in the picture. Oh my god, that's a wonderful shot. Color grading, yeah, interesting. Very orange movie in the studio.
Yeah, in the
Works well.
studio and then the movie theater, I feel like that kind of represents his obsession because, in the movie theater, the lobby's super orange and he's like only thinking about Nicole. There's not enough going on in the background for you to pay attention to anything else. And then, yeah, in the music hall, it's super orange.
Okay, let's talk about a big question of Whiplash. A lot of people debate constantly. Was it worth it?
Is it ever? I mean, I guess it's kind of like a gamble, like he put himself through all of this just for the chance to become great. There's never any guaranteed success, especially when anything can happen, like, a car crash or something that could just, that could have ended the movie right there.
Yeah. I think what's so fascinating about this movie, in my opinion, that really kind of helps make it what it is that it isn't a movie about art. It's a sports movie. And it took me a while to realize that because I was thinking about that movie and rewatching A Devil Wears Prada. I was thinking, why am I rooting for Andy most of the time when it comes to her ambition? And why am I not as much rooting for Andrew? And I think I'm rooting for Andy because she is trying to better herself and get to a career point to make her feel more fulfilled. And I think that Andrew is trying to become the best, not out of like artistic fulfillment, but just to say that he's the best. He never at any point is like expressing his like emotions or expressing his creativity. Every time we see him talking about his goals, it's just talking about wanting to be remembered and wanting to be one of the greats.
Yeah.
There's no like artistic integrity to it. It's just a competition to him.
And I feel like that's really shown at the family dinner scene where, the only thing that he mentions is, historical greatness. It doesn't seem to fulfill him personally or emotionally or anything. He just wants to be known.
It's such a brilliant scene where like you understand what he's trying to do, and like there's a world where like that scene is like he is supposed to be like the cool one that like owns his family, but he really doesn't. He's just as flawed as they are because he sees everything as a competition. That's just how he was raised. That's how Fletcher sees it too. They don't even want like true musical greatness. They just want someone to be the best, and they just want to be remembered.
And it always irritates me because, you can tell that he's one of those people where while you're having a conversation with them, you can just tell that the only thing he's thinking about is what he wants to say next. Especially with that dinner scene where, he completely disregards what they say and then makes it about himself again.
Yeah. You should start a podcast too. Okay. Nicole as a character. Very, very fascinating. I know some people have like problems with her, and some people say it's good that Andrew broke up with her. What do you think about it? What do you think about her and that entire subplot in general?
I honestly don't dislike her as much as, some of these other people. I think it's okay for, you to not have a clear goal in mind, Even though I have a declared degree, I still have no idea what I see myself doing every day for the next 50 years. Um, I think it's okay because, it's kind of like the same discovery that Andy goes through in The Devil Wears Prada, where, she knows that she wants to be doing okay for herself, but she she doesn't know the steps that she's going to take to get there.
Hmm. Yeah, Nicole is a very interesting, kind of a breath of fresh air in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a really great counterpoint to the Andrew character.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's nothing like wrong with her.
Well,
It's just not meant to be, I guess. But he really just doesn't treat her well.
I will be honest. I I did kind of find myself rooting for Andrew in the scene where he's talking about why they wouldn't be good in a relationship, because I felt like he was doing a good job at communicating, and that wasn't always being received well on her part. Um, you know, he's kind of just saying like I'm trying to save us both from this, but it's also kind of selfish on his part.
It is selfish on his part, and I do understand where he's coming from. But there's also, I don't know if he actually did do a good job communicating, because I really am frustrated, like when he says, "You're a distraction," like
Yes,
directly to her. It's just an awful
it's
thing to
it's terrible.
ever say to anyone. So it's really rough, how he treats her in that movie.
Yeah, it's terrible. I was quite glad that she was able to find somebody else whenever he calls her back later, um, because, she did not deserve to be put through that. I felt like she never did anything wrong to
Yeah.
deserve that.
Andrew's an incredibly complex character, and not very easy to root for, but you're kind of rooting for him to succeed in spite of Fletcher. And by the time you
Mm-hmm.
get to the end of the movie and he succeeds with the help of Fletcher, it doesn't feel very satisfying for me.
Well,
I feel like Fletcher just won.
I would say it feels satisfying because we don't even know if he did succeed. Like, yeah, he looks good in the moment,
Hmm.
with being a hot shot and having just redeemed himself from that first tune. But, with how abruptly the film ends, you never know if he achieves that greatness that he was striving for.
Yeah, I feel like he does, honestly, and I don't feel like it's good for him or good for anyone really. I think it's just like perpetuating this cycle of toxicity. And well, at the very least, he gets to that greatness in that moment, and that's probably the worst thing that could have happened to him, because we have the other character. His name is escaping me at the moment, but he passes away.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Fletcher's old student, and it's just it's rough. You really get the sense that the same thing is going to happen to Andrew.
Yeah.
That's how that ending always reads to me. To cut to black,
Oh,
like he just sold his soul in that very moment, and is going to pay the price for it in about
mhm.
10 years' time.
I was so upset at Andrew when he just kept pushing. Fletcher receives the phone call during rehearsal, and then he stops, and he's kind of visibly upset in the office. And then for Andrew to just keep pushing him till he kind of lashes out. Oh, I was pretty upset at him in that moment.
That's the I was thinking about it too. It's a good to mention that scene. That is the equivalent to the divorce sequence
Yeah.
in Devil Wears Prada. You both have like one moment where like they're completely human, and then the rest of it they're like this greater than life figure that's doing everything in their power to, you know, morph you into someone that you probably shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Um,
yeah, it's fascinating.
And another thing I thought was interesting is like how in the beginning of The Devil Wears Prada, Miranda's always calling Andy Emily, and then throughout the whole movie, Fletcher is calling him Knee Man instead of Naaman,
Mm,
as Andrew and his peers have pronounced it.
yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. Great tactic from him. It is a you seen Full Metal Jacket?
I haven't.
That's probably what it reminds me of the most. It feels like a military boot camp
Mm-hmm.
almost. You know, the whole Fletcher character and the way that he speaks, the way that he moves. It's fascinating how he's unbelievably cruel
Mm-hmm.
in that movie, and It's really difficult to watch. The point where Whiplash is almost like torture porn at points, I'd
Yeah.
say. It's
Oh, it's
as like
psychological thriller for sure.
as gratuitous as like almost a Saw at like certain points where you're making the scene where they're rotating the three drummers going back and forth is just so difficult to watch, but so enwrapping and enthralling. Like you can't take your eyes away from the screen, but every part of you is telling you that this is very wrong. It's like one of the most dark, rewatchable movies.
Yeah, I mean, I recently watched Funny Games, and it's a similar thing
Oh,
where,
yeah.
you just feel bad for watching it.
Yeah. Like you feel like you should turn it off, but there's like just a part of you that just wants to see what happens next and
Yeah.
what can happen to these characters next. And that's kind of part of the appeal, which is like, you can debate the ethics of it, but it's really entertaining.
And, you can never, like, in that scene, tell who's going to come out victorious between the three of them. You've seen Andrew working his tail off for that, like, 3 hours between the rehearsal, just trying to get this double time swing down. But as it's happening, it's really a toss up between the three drummers.
Yeah, yeah, you're really on the edge of your seat. And it's one that holds up to rewatches, Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
still on the edge of my seat. This is also my fourth time seeing it, I believe. And I'm just as into it, even though I know what's gonna happen. I'm still like, oh my god, can Andrew get it? He's gonna earn the part. But fascinating scene. Actor who plays Carl in that, the first drummer. Really, he was not a professional actor, and really helped out Miles Teller with his drumming technique.
Yeah, that's the impression that I got was, while he's on screen, he definitely has that musicianship.
Yeah.
And they didn't give him any speaking lines.
No, not many.
Um,
Most of the musicians were non-professional actors.
yeah, especially the ones that didn't say anything at all. You can really tell, especially that scene with the close up on the pianist.
Yeah. And they're good. It's like pretty accurate for the most part. I mean, like
Yeah.
there's some stuff that you kind of like can't really do for.
I feel like the most inaccuracies came from Fletcher.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, he's so good. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can make it like a little more accurate, but it's an independent movie.
Well,
I
and
can have some misgivings with it.
and if you really wanted it to be super accurate, you're just trying to watch the movie for it to resonate with you as a musician. You're not trying to watch it, for what the movie's actually about.
Yeah, just nitpicks.
Yeah.
Basically, and I guess you can have them, but it's not really valid criticism of the movie. Yeah, to talk a little bit about it in relationship to Devil Wears Prada thing.
Yeah, there's definitely some similarities, but they are definitely not the same movie at all.
No.
Like I've seen some people try to say that, oh, Whiplash is just the Devil Wears Prada for guys. That's a statement that's been said on the internet a few times, and it just really is not the case.
Well, yeah, they're different things, but they do have like a weird relationship with each other. Like I don't know. I mean, they're different in terms of their characters, their ambitions, and what they want to do. But they are both about like the toxic older figure kind of doing anything they can to morph like the future, the young people of this generation. And it's really interesting. It's a really interesting double feature.
Yeah. Like, and it's interesting to see how when the character that was there originally is trying to catch back up, like in the scene in The Devil Wears Prada where Emily is, trying to catch back up to the state that Andy's reached. And she's running these errands. She's running behind, and she gets hit by the bus.
Yeah.
Neiman does the same thing. He forgets his sticks at the car rental, and he's trying to catch back up to the state of the newest drummer, the redhead.
Yeah. It's really funny how they both have like similar car accident scenes. Kind of cost that character everything. Different characters in the movie, in both movies. Like one a more side, one the lead.
Yeah.
But interesting parallel nonetheless. Yeah, we can the character of Fletcher, the character of Miranda, they are similar in terms of like the shadow they cast over the movie, the power that they hold. But it's interesting how they are able to communicate those powers in basically the exact opposite ways.
Yeah.
Terrence Fletcher, sure you know, constantly screaming, always so loud every scene. Miranda never raises her voice once in the entire movie. This fascinating performances side by side, demonstrating how you can show power, and both kind of perfect examples. They're like the most perfect examples of that type of acting for both of them.
But I also feel like they're very different in the sense that, Fletcher is attacking the person, not the actions. Whereas, Miranda, she's just, trying to get a slave to do exactly her bidding.
Yeah. But there's some points, I think the whole Harry Potter thing
Yes.
is just her psychologically torturing Andy at that point, because she doesn't really fully care about like getting the Harry Potter books for her twins.
Yeah.
She just wants to punish Andy for going upstairs at that one point and seeing her at a relatively low moment. That is something that Fletcher would probably do.
Well, and I feel like the comparison that Whiplash has to that is in the final gig where Fletcher sets up Neiman by changing the set on him. He says we're going to be playing the same songs that we did over at Schaefer, but really it's this new set to make Andrew look bad. It's kind of the closest parallel that I could draw to the Harry Potter sequence.
Yeah. Brilliant sequence also, that of Whiplash. Did you see that coming when you first saw the movie?
I felt like there were some undertones when they meet at the bar. I was like, something's not sitting right, but I definitely didn't think that he would sabotage him that badly.
Not to that extent. It's just it's humiliating. It's like kind of a worst nightmare type scenario. That is like the one scene in the movie where I feel like I can't watch the screen. That he's playing that poorly.
Well, that, and also when he just got hit by a car, or hit by a truck, and you just see him failing. They feel very similar to me.
He tackles Fletcher. It's a crazy moment. Yeah, it's the massive success story. Damien Chazelle. Trying to think. Talk about the music.
We haven't really.
You like it? Good music.
I do. I don't sit there and listen to jazz in my spare time, but in this movie, it just always hits, especially with the way that scenes are shot and the the cinematography. The music just lines up so well with the camera work.
Yeah. Obviously the music is pre-existing, but it almost feels hard to believe since it fits so perfectly with the movie. Feels like it's what that song was always like meant to do. It's and it feels like that's always supposed to be part of that specific movie. And I hardly doubt anyone can hear those two songs again in any movie. Because that just like belongs to Whiplash now. No.
Well, there's especially the song called Whiplash. But yeah, I feel like Caravan is the more defining piece of the film.
Oh yeah, and the whole ending. Yeah. It fits perfectly with the movie. And title Whiplash, it's great. Works well with the movie, honestly. Devil Wears Prada does too. We didn't really talk about that. But.
Yeah. See, the whole time I was like wondering how it connects to the devil. And there really isn't much. It's all.
It's supposed to be like Miranda Priestley.
Yeah.
Like, evil. Like the devil.
Like the only thing in that movie that I drew parallel with was when Tucci's character is kind of consoling Andy, and he says 6 3 times. Like 666.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that like really stood out to me as like devil imagery.
Yeah. I think for the devil imagery, kind of have to go to the poster, which is I think one of the other reasons why that movie sold so well. It's one of the great movie posters of like the heel and the pitchfork.
Seeing the same thing, like I was expecting to see that shoe at some point, but obviously we didn't.
No. Whiplash, it's a poster of that. Just like I think it's just him on a drum set and like a bunch of pull quotes.
Yeah, it also kind of showcases the heavy color grading.
Yeah. Yeah, good poster for that. Great title for Whiplash in terms of I don't know. I guess like you could say emotional whiplash that you feel throughout the movie when you're watching it. Because I mean, it's one of the most intense movies in a while. It's a psychological thriller, sports movie. It's about music. I mean, gimmick has like kind of wore off a little bit in terms of like a shock, being shocked to the system after you've seen it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, the movie is rich enough in other compartments where it doesn't really matter. Like there's certain movies, they're like the gimmick behind it is so like fascinating that one or two watches, you're like, this is amazing. And after a certain amount of time, it kind of starts to go down your esteem or memory. But Whiplash is one where it's just loved it first time I saw it, loved it all these years later.
Yeah,
Good as well.
like I agree. It's definitely not as striking in some of the senses, but you still have a deep appreciation for what you're seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the it's a really popular movie on like a lot of the movie rating websites, I think. Like
Mm-hmm.
Letterbox, I think it's in the top 50. IMDb, I think it's top 50.
Yeah, when I went to log it, I saw like it's all skewed to the right. All of the ratings, it's got something like a 4.5 or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. People love that movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense. It's like just so fun,
Mm-hmm.
entertaining. And there's like a lot to chew on afterwards too. If you're a casual movie watcher, you like it because of how quickly it moves.
And I feel like it's got such strong, subtle differences. Like, sometimes when you're comparing movies, it's hard to describe some of like what you're seeing. Um, that's like, third perspective. But in this movie, you can tell that it's shot really up close. Like it's always in your face. Whereas in The Devil Wears Prada, the camera always feels like it's like a bug on the wall, and you're watching the entire scene.
Yeah. Whiplash. Think of that movie. Think of the close up.
Mm-hmm.
You really are like right there with them. You I see I think one of the top letterbox reviews of this movie just says I have J.K. Simmons screaming at me and I wake up in the middle of the night or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And you kind of carry like him screaming at you with you. And he's such a I don't know. It depends on like other roles, but he's such a kind man in real life that it's whenever you see him, but there's still like a little bit of you that's like a little on edge from like some of the roles he's played. More
Yeah.
specifically, this one.
Well, heck, even in the movie, it's a little jarring when you see him playing piano on the stage because it's so calm, and you really see his subdued passion for it, and it's a lot different than what you've seen throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's a it's a really great moment in terms of him. Just like it's the one moment where he really gets to be quiet. Besides maybe when he's talking to the little girl, which is also a great
Yes,
scene.
that's a great.
Great scene. It's like extending this. How long is this cycle of violence going to go on for?
Well, and then you see the immediate character change when he closes the door behind him. Um,
Yeah.
like right after that scene, and he finds out that the other drummer, quote unquote, lost the folder. Even though technically it was Andrew that lost it. Fletcher blames the core drummer.
Well, I think Fletcher took it, right?
I've
Think
heard
that's like
that.
the idea.
I haven't seen anything to like
I think
100% confirm it.
I think the folder at the end of the movie that he has is the folder
See,
of that was like missing, and that's like him telling him like I took it. So the other thing people don't talk about Whiplash is Fletcher's secret ability to teleport.
yeah.
Like looking down for half a second, look up, all of a sudden Fletcher's there. Because I mean he's like the only one that really could have taken the folder. Because who else would have, or how else could it have been lost?
It was some janitor that came by, right?
Some janitor. Yeah, yeah, of course. Okay. One other thing, got another list for you for Whiplash. Had a list for Devil Wears Prada. Got to make another list too. Except I didn't make this list. This movie premiered at the Sundance Film Festival.
Yes.
You know Sundance?
No, but you've mentioned
Yeah.
that.
Founded by Robert Redford,
Mm-hmm.
because of his classic character, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid. Great film festival for independent premieres. So it had its, I believe, 40th anniversary a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
So Sundance, as a practice, interviewed like over 500 critics for their best movies have ever premiered at Sundance Film Festival. and they have like a definitive top 10 most critically acclaimed, beloved movies to premiere at Sundance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read you this top 10 right now. Tell me your experience of any of these movies if you have them.
Okay.
Number 10, Blood Simple from the Coen Brothers.
I haven't actually watched that. I've seen clips of it though.
And number 9, Y tu mamá también from Alfonso Cuarón. I don't think you've seen that movie, but
You've
it's a
told me
good
about
one.
it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people to watch that movie, but I won't watch it with them. And
Oh.
you'll see why when you watch it.
Okay.
Number 8, Boyhood. And number 7, Before Sunrise. 2 Richard Linklater movies. Kind of like a little Sundance guide. Dazed and Confused.
Okay.
School of Rock.
Yeah.
Number 6, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Steven Soderbergh, Early Joint. Might be his first movie, don't quite remember. Number 5, Memento.
Oh,
Christopher Nolan.
that's a great one.
Great one. Number 4, Little Miss Sunshine. It's a personal favorite from mine when I was younger.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I need to watch it again, I think. It's really great. I think it holds up pretty well. Number 3, you've seen this, Get Out.
Oh, yes. I recently watched that. And Nope. I love the Jordan Peele movies.
Oh, they're so great. Yeah. We can pot about that.
Yes.
Unless someone takes it first, because I expect someone to pick Get Out at some point, honestly.
See, between them, I don't have a favorite, you know. Nope wasn't as strong for me as the other two, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a Nope guy. I really like Nope. That's my favorite.
I like the movie, but I really liked Us.
Us is great. I think Nope is just like the richest on rewatch. And like it's a little overwhelming at first because there's so much going on. But like when you really unpack what that movie's doing, it's really special. Okay, number 2, Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, man.
Me and you got a special relationship to this movie.
Yes. I think that was the first movie that I got on Steelbook.
Yeah.
And the 4K of that is just beautiful. And it's an amazing movie.
It's an amazing movie. Yeah, I agree. Tarantino debut feature, one of the most important artists of the last 30 years. What?
That was his first?
Yeah.
Wow.
First movie. He has like a lost one, I guess. But like people never really count that. That was his first real splash on the screen. And number 1, Whiplash.
Yeah.
It's the highest ranked on over 500 critics list for best movies that premiered at Sundance. And it makes sense. I mean, it's kind of the ultimate Sundance success story of premiering at a short film from the festival, winning Big Dare, turning into a feature, and then the feature debuting there. And now it's one of the most iconic movies of the last 15 years.
Wow. See, I'm still stuck between, you know, Reservoir Dogs and Whiplash. Like, that's a tough one for me. I'm not sure if I would rate them like that.
Yeah. I don't know I think my favorite of these might actually be Get Out, but I like that Whiplash is number 1 because it's like I feel it's like the definitive Sundance movie,
Yeah.
like the last 15
You know, it's
years.
the success story, the
yeah.
breakout, and
It's what good independent movies should strive to be, and what like everyone hopes for when they're making their movie, when they're making their debut short. It's the ultimate success story, and it's funny. That's what the movie's about.
yeah.
So, you know, maybe you could ask Damien Chazelle if it was all worth it. If he had to sell his soul to the devil too.
Ugh.
You know, getting into that car accident. It's just, isn't it crazy? It's like that happened, and that parallels the movie exactly.
Oh.
So I used to say, like, that's the one scene that, like, goes, like, a little too far, it's a little too crazy. But then that actually happened in real life.
Yeah, I wonder how that, like, affected it from that point on, you know, like, after the car accident that he was in. I wonder what the movie would have been like without him having experienced that.
No idea. That's interesting. I also tried to couldn't find out what scene he did immediately after getting into the car accident, because I'd be kind of interested in finding out what it was. But yeah, I'm glad that this movie was made. It's really important to me, I'd say. Not like one of my all-time favorite movies, but I do love it a lot, and I think it's one of my all-time rewatchable movies. Like, I can just throw it on basically whenever, because it just like goes by so quickly. Just about everyone I know likes it. Put on a group setting, everyone's gonna get super into it.
Yeah.
Maybe some people are a little too into it, but you know.
Yeah. My only gripe with it is that, there are some times where, you know, the music terminology is a bit immersion breaking.
Yeah.
But I do think it's highly rewatchable.
Yeah. guess maybe you can say it was like a. So many people think of it as a success story in terms of like Andrew gets exactly what he wants. It's a happy ending.
Yeah.
And it's not really how I interpret it, how I think the movie's supposed to be interpreted at all. I think Damien Chazelle said that. So maybe the ending could be a bit more clear for some people in that, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like it's plenty clear enough for me personally, so it's hard to hold that as like a flaw against the movie.
I think it's clear, and I think it's strong. You know, it's got that same kind of strike that the Divorce Prada had at the end with that, that slight smirk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I almost wish that the Divorce Prada had a stronger ending, like to definitively close
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to like uh, match the Whiplash thing in the fashion
Yeah.
world, because I feel like an extended fashion show sequence wouldn't be quite as interesting. And you
Yeah.
kind of get that with the monologue in the car between Miranda when
Yeah.
she says, fun fact also, the line was originally supposed to be everybody wants to be me and not
Oh,
everybody wants to be us. And I think everybody wants to be us works so much better.
really?
Yeah, I
I
do.
think. I mean, I guess, yeah. Thematically, it kind of shows her transition, but I might have been stuck more with it if it was me.
Yeah, this is interesting. I like us because it's like I don't know. It's like the one moment of finally acknowledging Andy is here. And
Mm-hmm.
like she's gotten this far and that she shouldn't like stop now or else um, she won't be Miranda. Or at least Miranda's saying that the narrative is really making you be like,
Yeah.
hey, you're about to go down like this path, and she actually stops herself, which is something Andrew couldn't do.
Yeah. Actually, okay. I see that, and I agree. Maybe me wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, Whiplash, great movie, best scene.
Oof. How about you go on this one?
Um, ending. Like I know it's everyone's best scene, but I mean, come on. It's like it's so impressive that the movie's able to, you know, get to that point and hold itself so long on something that should not be as exciting to watch as it is. Entire movie's building to it. And you get caught up in the moment thinking about how great this is. And then you get that single shot, the cutaway to Andrew's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize, oh, Fletcher's actually just getting everything he wanted. And he completely lost his son and his soul in the process. But, and then just to cut to black. Just a perfect
Yeah.
ending to that movie.
Well, and I find it awesome that it just immediately starts playing another jazz tune.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure which one
The world
it
just
is at
keeps
the end.
going.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if that one's my favorite. I think, for now, I would say that my favorite is when, the folder gets lost and, Fletcher gets mad. He blames the core drummer for, even handing it off as a responsibility. I think that line that he says is, humorous. I'm not sure if I'm going to repeat it for podcast sake, but something to the effect of a TV and a calculator.
Yeah.
But I feel so satisfied when you see Naaman get the chance that he's been working so hard for. He's like, I know this tune by heart. Let me play, and he does.
Yeah. That's a great scene. It's a great choice. I'm also a sucker for some of the rehearsal sequences.
Yes.
I think showing the time clock go by as he's going through all three drummers is a wonderful sequence. Maybe too far, but also extremely watchable.
Tense for sure.
Oh, adjusting the seat. That's what was holding you back. See a little JK. Can you got an impression for us, Matt?
What?
You got a little impression for us, Matt? You think you can do one?
No, I couldn't.
All right.
But I do find it funny when, immediately after picking Naaman for the tune, he's like, will the other two drummers clean the blood off my drum set?
Great scene. Great line. Okay, other big question. Terrence Fletcher?
Mm-hmm.
Or Miranda Priestley?
What are you asking?
Better character, better performance? Who would you rather? It's like however you want to interpret it. Who would you rather work for?
Okay, well, I'd much rather work for Miranda. It does seem like it's got a different level of stress.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to compare apples to oranges in this case.
Mhm.
But in terms of character and performance, I think J.K. Simmons just takes it on this one because
Okay.
he's so abusive that even as a watcher, you just feel hurt by some of his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Kind of hard to compare. I'll take Meryl, just like
Hmm.
the opposite. I think it's like a 10 versus a 10, you know?
Yeah.
But I just think it's so impressive how she doesn't raise her voice a single time, and she is as terrifying as she is and lets you in as much as she does. Just that little smile at the very end that she gives is so subtle.
And
It
her
just,
delivery of the "that's all"
yeah.
line.
Meryl Streep, one of the great line readers of all time.
Hmm.
Every line, like you forget that she's acting. It feels like she's actually saying those words for the first time, you know? Sometimes you're watching a movie and you're like, those words were written down. They've been said before. They've been workshopped. Meryl, every time she like says something, it's the first time it's ever been said. Is what it feels like.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I kind of felt the same during the dinner scene when Andrew has almost too good of a comeback.
Yeah,
He says, you know, 4 words that you'll never hear from the NFL. That was just, it was too quick almost.
yeah, that is the one scene where like I really love it in Fury, but sometimes it feels like it's a bit overwritten.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a little too clever for its own good. I like how crass he is most of the time, though.
Yes.
Like it's really kind of embarrassing, you know, like a little. um Immature of
Yeah.
Andrew. I think when Fletcher is able to use like swears, it's like a symphony of like perfection of like he's been doing this for like so long, he knows exactly what to say, and these probably aren't the first times he's ever said these words, but that's kind of a part of it. And Andrew is just like, you know, some dumb kid that's trying to look cooler and tougher than he actually
Yeah.
is.
Especially in that scene with the 3 drummers where he has a unique thing to say for each of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. Yeah, two great movies, two very rewatchable movies in a very different types of ways.
Hmm.
Two movies I really love. Yeah, need to get the 4K, both of them actually. I don't know if there's a 4K of Devil Wears Prada.
There isn't. So the highest one that they've got is Blu-ray. And I've heard some issues with the transfer on that,
Okay.
but oh,
I'll wait to see if they do a 4K.
I definitely regret missing my chance to get the Whiplash 4K steelbook.
Yeah. It's like the orange like symbol, right? Like blood on it, or I think it's something
So
else.
there's two, I think. There's one that's got more bluish green, and yeah, there's that one where it's like got the striking. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, there's one that's a snare drum, I believe, with
oh yeah,
two drumsticks and blood on the drum, and there's one of just half a symbol with some blood on it. No matter what, the blood is very important to this movie.
yes.
Good reason.
See, I think the symbol one does a better job of showing that color difference.
Yeah, I like the
Um,
simple one more.
but you know that one only comes with Blu-ray. So I think what I was planning on doing is
Mm.
getting that one and then just swapping out the discs.
Yeah, that might be worth it. It's a beautiful movie, great movie. Only time he worked at that cinematographer. He also shot a movie called Monkey Man that he and Matt
Oh,
actually saw together.
I actually recently picked that one up too.
Really? Yeah. You gotta rewatch it. Editor also, I should shout out Tom Cross. Did all the other Damien Chazelle movies, plus No Time to Die. Great work, Tom.
Wow,
Um,
I like No Time to Die.
wonderfully edited movie. This is your favorite Damien Chazelle? You seen his other movies? You like La La Land?
I need to rewatch La La Land. It's been too long, but I definitely do like that movie.
I think I like La La Land more, but I think Whiplash is more perfect. Because La La Land I have distinct issues with that I'll get into some other time because there's no shot that someone doesn't pick La La Land at some point. Too many people love that movie also.
Yeah,
If someone, I mean, I don't want to be the one to do it, but if I have to, I'll pick La La Land. But
that's funny.
because I love that movie also, and I love
Oh,
to talk about it.
but you know he's got a couple other strong movies. Like I know you're a big fan of Babylon,
Oh yeah,
and the soundtrack in that movie is phenomenal. I have yet to see it, but I've also seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, and you know that's another movie that I enjoy.
Mhm. Babylon. Those of you that don't know me, Babylon Hive all the way. If we know each other in real life, if you're listening to this, odds are you know how much I like Babylon. It's like it's my movie. Is it good? Kind of. it's a giant mess, but I've seen that movie definitely like 8 times.
Jeez.
And it's 3 hours long. And there's just something about it. It's just like so much fun. But yeah, I think that concludes our discussions on these movies. Any final thoughts on Whiplash, Devil Wears Prada, or both?
I'll definitely be rewatching these again sooner than I would other movies.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for being the first guest on this episode. Got to have you back sometime so you can
Yes.
pick a movie.
Thank you for having me. I'll try not to pick Winnie the Pooh.
No, you can if you want. It'd be you can do whatever you want. I know
I could discuss that one for a while.
Yeah, no spoilers. I know some people are picking some pretty crazy movies already. But say for the next episode, I believe these will be coming out every other week. Movies are going to be Project Hail Mary, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, and Sunshine from Danny Boyle. My pick is Sunshine. The guest pick is Project Hail Mary. Should be a really fun discussion, hopefully. So tune in next time to the Luke Bugbee Show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Matt, for being an amazing first guest.
Yes, thank you for having me. I enjoyed this.
Hope I can have you back sometime. This is really fun. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.